This is Tara McGinnis, and this is Theatrical Makeup Design Interactive. Now, almost all of this, except for the baby nipple, is done with paint. However, there are occasions when you want to go and do cuts and bruises and other things, burns and so on, that come out in 3 dimensions. So when you do that, you want to use wax or latex or some sort of combination of the two. I'm going to show you a simple cut done using wax. And you take a little bit of nose and scar wax, and you're going to go and spread some of this over a section of skin. Now this is where it really helps if you possibly can go and do it on bare skin. And if you have a tendency towards oily skin, it helps to clean the skin beforehand. I tend to have dry skin, so there's not so much of a problem with that. But now you have this. As you can see, you can use it to make, if you put it on a portion of your face like here where it stretches, it can look just like a scar simply having put a piece on it because it just lumps up the skin. However, you can also go and use it in a little bit more complicated manner by going and putting that in and then putting on your base over the top of it. And then grabbing a pin. What you do with the pin is you drag it through the wax like so, and then you pull it apart just a little bit. What you get is you get an actual indent that's a dimensional part to a cut. Now, let that get loose a little, hold the edges down a little more, make it all lovely. Now, of course, you do a cut like that on stage and you don't paint it in addition, that's never going to read on stage. That might be good for film to look like a little tiny cut, but it's never going to read even in a small theater from, 6 feet or 8 feet away. So what you need to do is, just as before, you go and take a red color and put it in the center. If it's a very deep cut, you want to go and take even a little bit of black and put that in the center of the red so that it suggests that it's deeper. You can sorry. Where was I? You can put black in to go and make it seem deeper. You can then go and use your highlighter color again and put highlighter on either side. Oh dear, I'm losing bits of my scar. Good for you to see this. That way you know it doesn't always work perfect every time. You have to work with it. You put the highlighter to either side, and it makes it look as though that part's sticking up, the outer edges. Now, sometimes you want to go and have a cut where the cut's, say, gotten infected or it's gotten a little bit puffier, at which point you then go and take your Happy Stipple sponge, and a little bit more red or pink is a good one to do. You can put that around as though it's becoming inflamed. Now, this is like the color you might use if there was a burn along with the cut. This is a bit stronger than I wanted. And I'm going to lose a bit of that. So I want it to look pink and inflamed, but I don't want it to look as though I've got rouge on. So I'm losing some of that. But I'm keeping most of it right around the edge of there. Then I'm going to take my stipple sponge with this dark sort of purpley color. Have that go around the edge. Again, somewhat similar to a bruise, you may want to go and add a little bit of yellow, like it's gotten puffy, and a little highlighter in the middle of those yellow puffy sections. In this case, connecting with the sides where you already put the highlighter. So it's looking like it sticks up and it's going open. Now, if you wanted to suggest that it's also bleeding, very simple. You take stage blood and you apply the tiniest possible amount using your pin. You don't need a lot to make this work. Usually people apply too much, and it just ends up looking like a bad horror show. And you know that I almost never suggest you do anything subtle for stage makeup, so I must mean it for this. Just a little bit goes a long way. Subtlety is rarely your friend in stage makeup, but it's always your friend when it comes to dealing with stage blood on stage. Okay. Next section.
Okay, before you on, just to check. Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Since that part came off?
Yeah, no, I actually like the fact that there are things that are not always working.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, no, I thought about it, but it's like, okay, having some of this not be running perfectly, because the end result is still looking exactly the way I want it to, so having it be rough along the way is kind of interesting. Okay, now another thing you can go and do that is in terms of using wax to make cuts is you can make an old cut, like, okay, I want to go and have a cut that was on the chin. It was from a previous time somebody beat me up. So I'm going to put on this wax, and then I'm going to put on my base over that. I'm going to blend it into the skin as much as I can. And on this one, because it's supposed to be an old one, I will take my pin again and I will go and do a line, but this time I'm going to use the flat side of it. And just do a little bit of an indentation, not that much. See, a little bit of a cut, but not that much. Now, I want to go and put the tiniest possible amount of a red in it. And I'm going to use a milder red that I've got in this wheel that's really almost a pink, so that it's as though that pink is a permanent discoloration that you've got from a scar, not something that's very new. Just, and as usual, I want to use a little bit of highlighter. The other side. And now I take thread and I cut little bits of thread into short pieces like this. Probably even need to be shorter than that. And this is a slow, meticulous process, and we will probably jump forward through some of it. What you do is you lay the thread across the cut like so, the pin, and shove the ends of the thread into the wax. And yes, this is something that you will be struggling with and that will not want to cooperate with you. It is a really difficult one to do. But I'll place each of them. I cleverly pre-cut pieces. I pre-cut some of them too long. Okay, now I've got each of those in place. I've sort of stuck them in the wax, but I now need to go use the pin to get the ends down and in there. So it looks like maybe a week before I got beaten up. I went to the doctor and I got all sewn up and then promptly got beaten up again. So